Hi, I'm Shirley Jones, and this is Gemma Wenger's Hollywood.
Academy Award nominee for The Godfather, so that's probably what you're best known for.
Boy, I'm pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, and 4-time Golden Globe Award nominee.
Yeah, I never win anything. Just like getting awards and no jobs. I'd rather get a job. They're going to give me a piece of glass.
I know.
can't eat
You
that
eat
glass.
regular
Oh,
that way.
nice.
God bless. Thank you.
God bless you. You take care.
How about a kiss goodbye? Adios.
Hello, I'm Martin Landau.
Hi, I'm Florence Henderson, and you're watching Gemma Wenger's Hollywood.
I'm Gemma Wenger, and you're watching Gemma Wenger's Hollywood. We're here at the Hollywood Museum for the Oscar viewing party. We're going to see a lot of celebrities tonight. There's a whole long list. We're going to be talking to them, finding out more about them, people that you're really interested in. So you stay tuned. Don't go away. My co-host, Kelly Carrey, and she knows everything there is to know about Hollywood. Tell us about this place, Kelly.
Yes, this is the Hollywood Film Museum. It's been here for years, and they do an event once a month. The last event I went to was for Batman, Burt Ward, and the event I went to before was for Lindsay Wagner for Bionic Woman. So they have the celebrity there. They honor them. And they talk to them, and they get all the feedback about every detail behind the scenes, what happened on these shows. And then they give an honorary award, a Hollywood Film Museum award. And it's wonderful. They bring all their costumes in. They bring the cars they drove on the TV show. They bring posters. If they were on Life magazine or if they were on Time magazine, they bring the magazines. Just bring everything. When they make dolls for the show, so they'll bring their individual dolls. So he had his Robin doll and she had her Bionic Woman doll. And it's really something. If you enjoyed these shows, you would enjoy coming here, that's for sure.
Well, and what do we have behind us?
Oh, let's see. I don't even know. This would be the Supremes costumes and the Pointer Sisters. And one of my friends is Mary Wilson, and she will be here tonight. She was one of the original Supremes.
That is very exciting. So we're really excited to be here tonight. We're going to be co-hosting, and it's going to be an exciting evening.
Yes, it is, especially with Gemma.
That's right, because I'm so excited, especially with Kelly. Never a dull moment.
Yes, it will be fun, so stay tuned.
Amazing, you guys are legends. What's it like to be you?
It's very uplifting.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. How did you start singing?
In church.
Yeah.
Our mom and dad were both ministers, and we started off as the little soldiers.
Yeah, we're little soldiers marching off to war.
Oh, you mean you started together?
Yes.
Wow. Where was this?
Oakland, California. Our dad was
Oakland.
the pastor of the church.
West Oakland Church of God. My mother and father. My mother was assistant pastor, and my dad was pastor. We were not allowed to wear tights, shorts, or pants, or nail polish or lipstick. So as soon as we got old enough, we put as much makeup on as we could find.
Every Halloween.
Halloween was our glamour time.
What was it like being a preacher's kid?
Very strict.
Yeah,
We had to go to
It was very.
church all the time. Prayer meeting, but
We couldn't even go to the movies.
No, we couldn't go to the
So it was hard for me to get into even thinking about actors and stuff because as a kid, I wasn't allowed to go.
Right.
The only movie I saw as a child was The Ten Commandments.
Oh, yes.
Not a religious movie.
Well, how would you have raised yourself differently? Because there's a lot of children who are pastors, sons and daughters.
Nothing different. I think my parents were brilliant.
Yeah.
They had 6 kids. You got to have some order. And church brought that. You know, the strict strictness and the discipline and all that. And Mom and Daddy were very organized, very disciplined. We had our days we had to do certain things and certain chores.
When they went to prayer meetings, sometimes we would get up on the coffee table and tuck our dresses up in our unders so that we could have a talent show with pie pans.
Right.
Oh my gosh, how
tambourines.
funny.
Exactly.
As tambourines.
We would. We'd
Now,
play that
have you gone back and forth from Oakland to LA all these years? Have you?
No, I moved to LA when I felt I had to. The industry was here.
Yes.
We kept going back and forth, and then I said I might as well live there. So we moved here, and I've been here since the early '80s.
Wow.
Was it a shock for your parents when you became so popular and got into the business? I mean, was there a huge concern they'd protected you from this all these years? Were they like freaking out?
First they were, but then once they saw that live at the San Francisco Opera House and all of that.
Yeah, that was an incredible show. And they saw that we were serious, we were serious.
We were singing with Dorothy Morrison and Billy Preston.
Northern California.
Northern
That's when I saw Bonnie and June singing with them, and I quit my job the next day and joined the choir.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's when we became the Three Pointer Sisters, Anita, Bonnie, and June.
But a lot of people sing in church, but they're not as talented as you guys are.
Oh, thank you.
Stop. Don't say too much.
And all your friends too, right?
That's the best training you can get, though. We really did. We learned a lot.
Being honest,
singing in the choir.
Mm-hmm.
But were you friends with the girls in the Supremes, like our friend Mary Wilson? And she's a dog.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, we came along listening to them, wanting to be them.
Yeah, they're amazing.
They're
absolutely.
amazing. Diana Ross and
And
Supremes, Mary
troopers,
Wilson,
man. Troopers.
Gladys Knight. There's so many. All the Motown sound and the Philadelphia sound. We love that stuff. We
Back
loved
in
it.
the day, they didn't write their own songs. They had the writers from the record companies to write songs for their artists.
And when we first got our first record deal with Atlantic Records, me and Bonnie and June, and we had songs that we wanted to do, songs we had written and our friends had written, they laughed in our face and said, "Black girls can't sing that kind of music."
Oh, no.
You gotta sing like the Jackson 5. You gotta sing like the Honeycombs. We don't
Speaking of the Jackson 5, did you get to meet Michael?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We
wow.
loved Michael.
Oh, for sure.
We loved him.
See,
I
very
gave him
sweet.
a lot of awards. I gave him
You with Michael.
pictures with Michael.
Oh, you did, huh?
American Music Awards and Grammys, things like that.
Oh, wow.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Neverland.
And We Are the World. I have the
We Are the World poster.
I have the music over there on the
I
wall.
have a good friend, Huey Lewis. Have you met him?
in the
I don't
news.
think so. And he's from the Bay Area too.
Yeah, he's from the Bay Area too.
Now I might have seen him that night at We Are the World, but
Oh, he
there was
was in
so
that.
many
I have
people.
the picture. He
Yeah,
was in
there was
that.
just so many people there. I didn't get. I think I
was
got
there.
his autograph.
With all the
Yes,
people
he was
that are
there.
so famous to us at that time, we were like starstruck.
Oh, I bet.
How did you keep your faith being so famous, being so well known, being in an industry that's not known for being religious or faith-based?
Your faith is deep rooted. Whatever you believe is within you. You know that never leaves. Never, ever, ever. It never will leave. Nothing. I don't care. Outside this world can't do that. They can't take my faith away from me.
Now, I was here 2 years ago, I believe, and you got an award here. And you sang a little bit, didn't you? Do you remember that?
I'm like, I'm so excited.
Yep.
And I just can't hide it. Boom, boom. I'm about to lose control and I think I like it. I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it. No, no, no. And I know, I want you.
Amazing.
Amazing.
The
Truly.
audience is going to love that.
Yes,
That
yes.
was a great way to end this.
Wonderful. This is the very famous and very beautiful Nancy ODell, and her face is so recognizable from Entertainment Tonight and Access Hollywood, and you're just a legend.
Oh, you're very sweet to say that. I appreciate it. It's so nice to be here tonight. And when they said they were going to give me the Icon Award, I was like, oh my gosh, that's right. I have been doing this for a very long time. Because at first I was like, no, I'm not deserving of an Icon Award. And then I was like, how long have I been doing this? And then I realized, okay, next year it'll be 25 years. So I was very humbled to get the award and just very honored.
Now, did you start out in journalism? Was that how you first got onto Access Hollywood or Entertainment Tonight, or you're just a stunning beauty model?
No, I started in, actually, I majored in marketing, so I started in TV sales, and then I started doing a little reporting on the weekend, and so I started in hard news, and then went to Charleston, South Carolina, a little bit bigger market, and I did the crime report and the police report there for 3 years, and then I went to Miami and did investigative reporting there, and did the Anchor the Evening News there for about 2.5 years, and then started at Access Hollywood. So I was with NBC then. So actually before doing entertainment for 25 years, I did hard news for about 8 years. So I've been at this a really long time.
So you just kept being promoted?
Well, doing different things. So I was doing the hard news and investigative first, and then I guess just going to a bigger and bigger market. So, but doing different, because I was doing the investigative and hard news to begin with, and then went into entertainment.
What was the best thing about being on Entertainment Tonight?
It was, I say to somebody, the biggest compliment I think that I could have ever gotten in my career was to be the person who filled Mary Hart's shoes. And I still say that I don't think I ever filled the shoes, because who can fill the shoes of somebody who started the whole genre? Because when entertainment news started, Mary was the one who began everything. She was the very first host of an entertainment show. So, it was just such a compliment to be the person who was the host after Mary did it. And she's a good friend of mine, and just a sweetheart, and actually told me that, if there was somebody to fill her spot, that she made me feel so good, and saying that I would be the one that she would want to do it, and made me feel like that was the best feeling of anything that I could have ever have gotten. So that was probably the most thrilling thing.
Any obstacles that you've had to overcome in your career, because you are so successful?
Oh, you're so kind. I think, just the same thing that everybody does. But the great thing about it is this day is that, the nice thing is that I think women have overcome a lot of obstacles, and the staying power, and the being able to do this job for a long time now, and that, you don't have to be in your 20s to do this job anymore, thank goodness.
Well, you look like you're in your 20s.
You're very kind. I don't, but I appreciate your saying that. You're so sweet. But that's the great thing about today's time, is that we're seeing more actresses that are on screen at an older age, in the movies and television, as reporters. So I love the time that we're in now, that women have the longer staying power. That's why I talked when I accepted the award tonight about, one of my icons when I was young was I loved watching Chris Evert play tennis, because I thought she had such grace and power. And I was saying the great thing about her is that of her staying power, like, she's still such a great commentator today. She's still such a powerful woman today, to this day.
Well, you're beautiful and talented, and that's such a model for everyone out there, that you're not just a pretty face, that you work hard.
It's hard work, I'll tell you what. It is hard work. A lot of people don't realize how much studying you do, and prepping for an Oscars, or prepping for a Golden Globes, or prepping for the Grammys, or prepping for just an interview period. Like, you do a lot of reading and a research to make sure that you know all about the person that you're interviewing, because you want them to know that you did do your homework out of respect for them.
My book is actually out in stores now as well, that I helped write with one of my very dear friends. Brandon was a Make-A-Wish kid. Not a Make-A-Wish kid, sorry. He was a Wish kid through Starlight, and his wish was to come meet me on the set of Growing Pains. He was from a broken home. Dad left on his 5th birthday. Mom working hard. She was a prison guard. He was home alone all the time, and he saw Ben's life as something that he wanted. He wanted that family life. So he wanted to come meet me. He was the only Wish kid to ever want to come meet me on the show. We had lots who came through.
And what is the name of that show again?
Growing Pains.
Yes.
I
What a
knew
fabulous
that.
show. I
That
knew it too. I wanted to make sure the audience
show.
So it was just a great time. Him and I formed this incredible friendship, and getting to come meet me showed him that a little kid from Nowheresville, Louisiana could do just about anything. And he turned his life around. He ended up having a surgery that saved his life. He became a straight A student, honor student. He's now a pediatric cardiologist treating children with the same heart conditions that he had. He is one of the most amazing guys I've ever met.
Wow.
And he was critical in helping get me sober when I was right at the depths of my addiction. So in a way, we both kind of helped save each other's life. And it's just a story about our 30-year friendship. Both Brandon and I are very, very open about our faith and how we truthfully feel that God used each of us in each other's lives, at different times. So that's really what the book is about.
That would be fabulous.
So how did it make you feel when he wanted you, that you were his Make-A-Wish person instead of somebody else?
It was a very big deal for me. I mean, I was only 12 years old. He was 11. But it was a big deal. Everybody always wanted to meet Kirk or wanted to just come and see the cast. But for him to I just set out to make sure he was going to have the best day he possibly could.
How
because
beautiful.
It was just so special to me that he was coming to see me.
You just had that connection.
Absolutely, and we did. We really hit it off almost immediately. I didn't know this, but at the time, he was really struggling with his faith. He's got a terminal heart condition. He's broken home. He's all this stuff. And he had been praying, God, please, just if you love me, show me you love me. And it wasn't specifically about this wish or anything. It just was. And when he got to the set, the third question I asked him was, where do you go to church? And it set off a little bell in his head that, wait a minute, I think God might be showing me he loves me here. He might be answering my prayer.
Wow.
And it just kind of set him off on this path.
Now, you talked about he helped you when you were kind of down in the dumps with addiction.
I was going through my alcohol addiction, and when Brandon and I reconnected after many years, was the same time I connected with my fiancée Joni when I met her. And we were filming in Louisiana, in New Orleans during Mardi Gras. We were filming the second Growing Pains reunion film.
Oh, wow.
And I was not going on the downhill of the addiction yet, but I was right at the precipice. And being in Mardi Gras, New Orleans for 3 weeks didn't help. By the time I left there, it was on a real bad downward spiral. And Brandon was one of the first people outside of my family that I opened up to about what I was going through.
Well, a lot of child stars do battle addiction. Unfortunately, do you think there is a correlation there?
Well, I think we're not prepared with a lot of the basic life skills that help avoid a lot of that.
I see.
Mine didn't really have to do with a lot of that. I had a lot of abuse issues I was dealing with from my stepfather that I just couldn't deal with, and that's how I chose to. That was my medicine. That was the only way I could deal with what I had gone through. And it came to a point where when I wanted to put it down, I couldn't.
Yes.
And it's the only thing in my life that was that way. I partied, I had my wild times, my college years. The only thing that ever grabbed me was alcohol. Anything else, I was able to go, tried it, thanks, I'm done. Alcohol, no matter how bad I wanted to stop, I could not put the plug in the jug.
And then what was the final thing that turned your life around?
Well, Brandon getting involved, he basically spoke with a recovery company that I work with now that helped get me sober. And it was an expensive program, as most recovery programs that work are.
Yes.
And I didn't have the money. That's just the plain and simple facts. It was almost $15,000 program. I didn't have that just lying around. Most addicts and alcoholics do not. And I didn't have anybody who could just foot the bill for me. And my buddy Brandon called, well, first of all, Alan, Kirk, and Brandon all called the CEO of this company and vouched for me. They basically said, this kid is worth it if you save him. He'll work if it works.
That would be Alan Thicke and Kirk Cameron.
That was Alan Thicke, Kirk Cameron, and my dear friend Brandon were the ones who vouched for me and stepped up and convinced this man to put me through the program in exchange for me then helping promote them if it worked.
Oh, that's so great.
And I did. I mean, they don't pay me. They don't do nothing. I go and tell anybody I can. This program is wonderful. If you're needing more than the basic availabilities. Now, trust me, I have friends who do 12-step. I have friends who do. You don't have to spend $10,000, $15,000 to get sober. But I needed something to help get me past those cravings.
You needed some real one-on-one attention.
I did, and it made all the difference in the world for me. And Brandon was very crucial in getting that for me.
What was the name of your...
The company is called BioCorrects.
Where are they out of?
They're actually all over now. They don't have their own clinics. They license the product. The product is it's a small medicine implant. It's just a little pill. They implant it into the fatty tissue in your abdomen, and it dissolves over a year, basically. And the medicine helps block your craving for alcohol and opiates.
Interesting.
So the only two things it works for is alcohol and opiates, but it works, and it works amazingly.
And then where can they get your book?
You get my book at whenIwishedUponAstar.com if you want to get it autographed by Brandon and I, or you can also find it on Amazon and most other online places.
Now, let me ask you one question. The Church of Scientology is doing a niacin cleansing that is supposed to help to get the alcohol out and residual drugs.
They tried to get a hold of me and lock me in a room early on, and I was so desperate I almost did it.
You did?
I was that desperate to stop. No, I don't agree with the niacin flush, cleanse, all that other stuff. I've heard about it. It's not very safe. It hasn't been tested on, to any great degree. I'm not a big fan.
I get it.
I tend to go with things that are very well tested over the years in recovery. If it's been around for 20 years and you got people who've got 50 years of sobriety who've done it, then you've got a pretty good roadmap there. You know what I mean?
Smart guy.
Jerry Mathers from Leave It to Beaver.
Such an iconic, wonderful show, and you were so good in that.
You know what? It was really fun, and I had a wonderful life because of it. So it's something that I'm very blessed to even talk about today.
Wow. And what lot were you filming on for that set?
We were on first CBS Center, but at that time it was Republic, and then actually people that watch the show will know we moved houses. Well, that's because we moved to Universal Studios for the last 4 years of the show.
Oh, it was moved. So how many years were you on total?
6.
Wow.
39 episodes, so there's about 234.
Wow.
And it changed your life forever.
Well, I've been a working actor since I was 2 years old. So before I did Leave It to Beaver, I worked with Alfred Hitchcock. I was in The Trouble with Harry, which was John Forsythe and Shirley MacLaine's first movie, and I'd already done 5.
Perhaps I'll come back tomorrow.
When's that?
Day after today.
That's yesterday. Today's tomorrow.
It was.
When was tomorrow yesterday, Mr. Morrow?
Today.
Oh, sure. Yesterday.
How was working with Alfred Hitchcock? That's amazing.
It was really great. I know a lot of people, and probably as today, as an actor, I would have been very afraid, but I used to run my lines by sitting on his lap, and he'd give me ways and inflections that he wanted me to do it. So he was a very, very nice man. When I was doing Leave It to Beaver in the 50s, that was before Leave It to Beaver, I'd always see him in the commissary, and he'd always come over to me and say, "Hello, Mr. Mathers." And he was the first person ever called. That was my father. He was the first person when I was like 7, 8 years old that called me Mr. Mathers.
Wow.
When I was a school teacher at 26, they called me Miss Wenger, and I flipped out. I was like, oh my goodness, it sounds so weird, and you were 6 years old.
About 6 and 7, yeah. And as I said, I saw him until I was about 14 because he was doing the Alfred Hitchcock Present. That was a series, but he'd come in about once every 3 months and do like 20 of them, and I'd always see him, and he'd walk over, or I'd walk over to him in the commissary, and just a very nice man.
Wow. Who else did you see in that commissary back in those days?
Well, I'd worked with a lot of people. I worked with Bob Hope. I was in Shirley MacLaine and John Forsythe's first movie, and I'd already done several. So I've been a working actor since I was 2 years old, before Leave It to Beaver. Did Leave It to Beaver when I was 6 and just about 7. And this is the longest running show in television history. I've done the new Leave It to Beaver, but I've done a lot of movies and other things since then. It's hard to remember that far back.
Any TV shows like The Love Boat or any of those?
Of course, everybody does The Love Boat. The Love Boat, that's me.
I love that theme song too.
So what have you been doing since then? Acting, or have gotten into some other professions?
Well, I was a real estate agent. I was $1 million real estate agent. But basically, I've been an actor all my life. But because of the money I made in Leave It to Beaver, my parents were very, very good with saving it for me. So it's not like I had to go out and immediately find a job. But I like selling real estate. Now I'm retired. I'm at that age where I don't have to work anymore.
We have Erin Murphy, who played Tabitha from Bewitched, and you're like an icon.
Thank you.
How old were you when you did Tabitha?
I started when I was 1 and it went till I was 8.
7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't know anything else other than being a movie star or celebrity.
It's my whole life, so it's weird because it seems normal to me because that was my childhood, so nothing about it seems strange.
I mean, you were so cute with those like blonde locks and everything.
Oh, thank you.
So after that, what did you do? What did you go on to do?
I kept in the business. I did 100 and something commercials. I guest starred on shows, and I had a normal life. I was a cheerleader and homecoming queen, and like a normal kid. I did like Lassie and things like that.
Muffin's too scared of things. He practically had a fit when he saw his first chipmunk.
So what does your future hold? What are you looking forward to doing that you haven't done yet?
This is the year I'm telling everyone I've retired, kind of. I bought my dream house on the beach in Malibu, and I'm traveling. Like I'm going to Switzerland and Venice, and it's just a year of fun.
Awesome. Where
right?
in Malibu?
I'm right on the beach in between Leo Carrillo and County Line.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we love Malibu. We go there a lot.
I love it so much. Yeah.
You're really actually on the PCH headed kind of toward Oxnard.
I'm behind a gate on the ocean, so I'm not on PCH. I'm on Beach Club Way. If you guys want to stalk me.
We might.
So it's okay to relax. It's okay to have achieved.
I am a strong supporter of you work hard, you save your money, and then you enjoy it.
Well, I mean, I think what people want to know too is that you were making a lot of money on that television show. What happened to it all? Do you invest it and make it grow?
Or? It was invested. They only put a percentage away, so a percentage of the money went into savings, and I invested it, and then I made some good investments on my own in the market. So I've always been kind of obsessed with finances. So
it's really smart. That's really smart because you had money, you invested it, and it grew, and now you're blessed.
I tell my kids now, every penny you make, put 10% away, and it seems like nothing. Like you make $100, put $10 away, and then you can retire and live your life.
Have kids? How fabulous.
I do. I have 6 kids.
What? Brady Bunch situation?
No, all mine. Yeah.
Wow,
I had 6
you
kids.
look like a little kid yourself. That's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Wow, that's so beautiful.
How old are they?
Youngest just turned 17. Oldest is 34.
Oh my goodness, you don't look like you have a child who's 34. You look like 34.
Yeah, you really do. You really do. You really do.
So what would you say to people who are like child stars or child actors? Because I think sometimes they are very wayward. They get in with the wrong crowd. They waste their money.
I think a lot of times you hear about it when they're child stars. I think if you followed any high school class or elementary school class, there would be kids from everywhere who get into trouble and those who don't. But it's newsworthy if it's a child star who does something bad. I think there are just as many who lead boring, normal lives.
That's so true.
But I always say, because I have lots of friends who are former kid actors, move on. If you love the business and you want to be in the business, there's so many things you can do in entertainment, but the entertainment industry doesn't owe us anything. We were lucky to have a great job. If you can't keep doing acting jobs, get another job. I don't feel like anyone owes us anything.